Midnight, January 1st, 2000. I was no longer grounded and could finally play my video games again, but instead of running around as Sonic for the entire day, I was stuck in front of my TV watching kids from all around the world talk about their hopes, dreams, and predictions for the future. Nickelodeon was the first documentary I'd ever seen, and it kickstarted my love for the genre. I remember writing to Nickelodeon to ask them to show it again, and they did broadcast a shortened version maybe a month or two later, but never again. There are only two known versions of the Nickelennium in existence. The 90-minute encore that I uploaded to the Internet Archive in 2014, and a 5-hour recording of the original broadcast uploaded to YouTube by Amethyst22 in 2017. I haven't watched that one yet, so I can't say for certain if it's the full thing or not, but I did skim through and noticed that the intro started about 3 hours into the video, and there were some cuts and repeating scenes. At the very least, the full original unedited broadcast is lost media. I'm going to talk about the encore in this video, but I still want you to watch the Nickelodeon for yourself. I've added links in the description to both versions, so check them out when you get some time. But for now, let's get started.
In 10 years, I see technology making lives easier for people, for all people. I see technology helping people with daily activities that normally they would have found hard. I see technology improving the lives of people in terms of what they have in their brain, in terms of what they can learn. I see technology in so many things.
With the Nickelodeon being about the future, it only makes sense that technology is one of the main themes discussed throughout the documentary. As expected, most of the kids interviewed have a positive view on technology in general because of its role in shaping societies and advancing the world. Technology can be a device to make household tasks easier, a tool to help others less fortunate, or just be used for fun. However, the same kids who praise it are not naive enough to do so blindly. Just as many of them, if not more, also criticize technology and its impact on changing the world too much, too fast.
And they should learn that life isn't that easy and you can't just get through life clicking buttons and things like that. You have to work for it, and it should be hard as well as fun.
I'm really concerned with the direction we're going in, like where are we headed and what's our goal. I mean, we have technology and we have all these great things, but so what? You know, like, so you build a better computer, it's faster. Like, who cares?
I feel like this outlook is lost on the current generation of kids because they didn't grow up in the transitional period that millennials in the 90s did, so they don't know life before computers, cell phones, and the internet were everywhere. It's not their fault though. I'm not blaming them. That's just the way the world has gone, and to not try to keep up with change is to be left behind. There just needs to be a balance. But that's not what this video is about. I only brought that up to set the stage for these next few segments. Another recurring topic that kids were concerned about is society's negative impact on the environment due to both technological advancements and people's uncaring attitudes towards pollution.
This land in 50 years,
I think it'll be gone.
It'll be gone. It'll be nothing but litter, dump trash.
Lots of buildings and pollution.
No longer clean air. There'll be animals. Animals will be kept in zoo that usually are found out in the wild.
Everything's become man-made and stuff. I don't want that to happen. I want something natural to be left. I want there to be trees and grass and flowers and, well, and the other weird thing is I didn't see any birds. When I was looking out of the windows, I didn't see any birds.
We were worried about it back then, and we're still worried about it right now. We're feeling the effects of it every year with consistently warmer temperatures and deadlier storms, so this really shouldn't be a controversial topic at all.
It makes me just think of how everyone's just polluting this world, you know. Makes me feel really cross, like stamping the ground or something. And even though I'm really small, I'm only 11 years old, I'm sure I can do something to stop pollution and all that stuff.
Speaking of someone really small who can stop pollution,
I'm 7 years old. My name is Ravish. In my dream world, I want to be a scientist.
I'll become a scientist by making an invention that will take all the pollution and take it up to the sun.
The two biggest offenders he identifies are cars and scooters, so he says his pollution sucker will also work directly on them to clean up the streets.
There won't be any cars here, and all these cars will be thrown to the sun and burned.
Ravish also introduces flying wings, his second invention that will allow its users to fly over traffic. And unlike cars and scooters, it doesn't make any noise or cause any pollution. I find it pretty heartwarming to see a kid as young as Ravish recognizing a problem affecting his country and then coming up with a creative solution for it.
After I make my invention, my country will look very clean.
Staying on the topic of transportation, I want to talk about Z next. I thought she was the coolest person when I was a kid. Maybe it's because she's sitting on that newspaper machine like a rebel. Maybe it's because she looks like she's from a Nickelodeon show. Or maybe it's because her name is just the letter Z. Very mysterious. Anyway, her segment is about the different ways people will get around in the future. She thinks we'll be doing things like taking transporters instead of subways, but also hopes the current methods of travel will be preserved because she likes them.
I don't really think that cars are going to have wings and fly. I mean, I think that there'll be a third dimension, like, to the whole transportation idea. You know, like, they'll be stuck in the air and everything, and it won't just be on the street. It won't just go back and forth. It'll go up and down, too, and it can, go all over.
And just listen to what she says about kids taking public transportation by themselves.
What makes it really safe is that kids could have like these little like TV things. They're like pocket sized. We've been getting more and more in touch and being able to communicate with each other much easier. So parents will be able to talk to their kids more, and they can like see where they are and see if they're safe or not. And I think that therefore kids will be able to take the same transportation that adults take.
That's right. Z invented FaceTime. I told you she was cool. Thomas lives in a boring town in England with nothing to do. He wants to make his own virtual world when he grows up, but not for the reason you may be thinking.
Because the idea of the virtual world is that the real world is disintegrated quite a lot and it's all polluted, so it could be better that we were there in a virtual place where it would be nice and clean and happy. When we start going to the virtual worlds, it'll have a chance to grow back.
I remember things did change during the relatively short time we were all in COVID lockdown half a decade ago. Animals were roaming the streets in some places, and the air pollution in cities around the world was clearing up a bit.
You'll be laying on your couch all day, and if you want to go somewhere or change the surroundings, you can talk to your computer and say, "Oh, I am walking." You'll still be laying on a couch, but in a virtual world you'll be walking. And then you can sort of go to a cinema. You just tell your computer that you want to watch so-and-so movie at the cinema. You never leave your couch, but you talk to people over the internet.
While I wouldn't want to spend all of my time in a virtual world, I'm sure there are many gamers, especially streamers, who probably wouldn't mind it. And Thomas's dream is even more feasible nowadays since interest in MMOs and VR is at an all-time high. I'm not actually going to fact check that, but it sounds right.
Eventually all the humans would die out and they would become just virtual minds, and then the computers are going to start thinking for themselves, and the computers will actually make themselves better. And you will become computers.
Let's move on.
When we leave, the Earth will be a better place.
As you can see, kids in the 90s had some interesting ideas on how technology might evolve to address the problems people around the world are facing. But what about when technology isn't the answer? The Nickelennium doesn't shy away from addressing heavier topics. In this section, I want to talk about 3 societal problems that are affecting the kids in different ways.
When I read about Hiroshima, the big city in Japan, and they bombed Japan, and they called the bomb Little Boy. They named it, and then they dropped. I was horrified, and it was really awful.
You might expect all the kids in this segment on War and Peace to say that there will be no wars in the future, but it's actually quite the opposite. While they are all very much anti-war, every kid here understands that conflict always seems to need to exist in all parts of life.
I mean, like in a classroom at school, there is always a bully. In a workplace, there's always a bully, no matter where you're going. It's the same really with war. There's always going to be one person trying to stop the peace that somewhere has. So it's just going to be like that, really.
A few of them talk about nuclear weapons and the fear that we're going to wipe ourselves out one day. A few more call out adults for being hypocritical and telling the kids not to fight each other and to get along, while at the same time they're invading foreign countries and dropping bombs.
The stronger countries need to help the smaller countries and not try to force them to do things. There has to be a mutual understanding between them. The country that loves others helps them. Maybe we'll come around to a mutual understanding one day.
But even when faced with this grim reality, the kids still have hope that one day things might get better.
We see ourselves as individuals, but if we saw ourselves as a whole human race, we are all like a body part. I mean, like one person's the finger and one person's the arm. If we see ourselves that way, not as somebody who can take on the world by themselves with one big blaster gun, kill everybody, but as somebody who can turn the world into a great power. And I think we're moving in that direction now, even as we speak. Peace is ultimately what we're all striving for in one way or another.
We are going to be the future. And if we get it in our minds that we are not going to fight, then I guess we won't fight. And if we don't want to fight, why will there be wars?
Beauty is perhaps the topic that I think resonates the most with the kids in these interviews, and it makes perfect sense too. Unrealistic beauty standards are not only something they are fed by the entertainment industry, but they also deal with in their daily lives, whether it's within their friend groups or by bullies at school. As such, there are a lot of good quotes here.
I hate having her as a best friend because everyone loves her. I mean, I think everybody loves her, even though she doesn't think that. People kind of like me who aren't a size 1, you know, those other people. I hope, like, fat people will be beautiful. I hope, really, like, seriously, like, on the cover of Vogue will be a big, fat person. That's what I wish. But, you know, that's all.
Perhaps this is just me speaking as an adult, but I don't think even as a kid, I think Sade was fat. She looks average size to me. And that's the problem. She's made to think she's fat. Anyway, this beauty segment also has one of the few times in the Nickelodeon where the kids actually have conflicting opinions on the topic.
It doesn't matter if you're big, skinny, normal. Not how fat you are or skinny you are.
So what do you care about being fat then? Some people feel good about themselves, even if they're like really big. It doesn't matter. If they feel good about themselves, then it's fine.
When she was little, she was quite plump. She was a little girl, and then everyone was being nasty to her. And then when she got to about 12, 11, she started to get slim. And now she's got boys in her school that are asking her out.
Shut up now.
I think that you should be free to do what you want with your body. You know? I'd like a nose job, that'd be cool.
Okay.
I mean, like, I don't really like plastic surgery, but if people want to do that, then that's okay. It's like dyeing your hair, or wearing colored contacts.
Everybody wants to be beautiful, but everybody is beautiful. So I think they should do away with plastic surgery.
I think they did a great job with this segment. You can actually see the feelings of awkwardness, contentment, resistance, or hurt in each kid as they share their thoughts. This is the saddest part of the Nickelodeon.
I know one girl in our neighborhood, she got grounded for like a month, I think, for hanging out with him because her mom found out that she was hanging out with him.
Yeah, that she was hanging out with me a lot, and then Riley. It was Riley, me, and the girl, and my other friend, who's a guy. We went into my house, you know, because we wanted to hear the new Brandy CD. And somebody told on her that she went in the house to see the Brandy CD, she got grounded for like a month. And then when I came up to try to talk to her mom about it, she got grounded for another month. She says that her mother, it says that if she ever came home with a black person or African American, that her mother would disown her as a child. Disown her as a child. And so.
You can tell by Ishma's body language that he's hurt recounting this story. He goes on to talk about how he once thought racism was over, but then he'd get doors slammed in his face and realize that some people actually do hate him just for the color of his skin. He didn't want to show it outwardly that those incidents affected him, but he's cried about it while laying in bed at night. Ishma says that there have been times where he wished he was the same color as his friends, but now he's proud of who he is and has found a very valuable lesson in his experiences.
I can learn from those people's mistakes. They made a mistake that I'll never make. I'll make sure that I never make someone feel the way that I felt. Since I'm mixed, I'm mulatto, I was around both, so it seems really wrong to me to be racist against white or black because I'm both of them. So and until that's kind of one passageway out of racism, is that we have to be part of each other. Even if it is you're really part of each other, or you're just part of each other in the heart or the mind, you have to have some connection.
In a documentary that shows how wise and mature kids truly are, Ishma is one who stands out. This section started out dark, but it began to lighten up a bit at the very end. Let's finish this video by making that light even brighter. Nickelodeon is a network for kids, so of course the Nickelennium is also full of silly fun that doesn't have a deeper meaning like the previous sections I've covered. Sometimes kids just want to be kids.
Hi, I'm Luca. I'm 9 years old and I come from Romania. I don't have any sister or brothers, just a cat.
He currently only has one cat named PC, but in the year 2040, he wants 1,000 cats, 999 of which will be photocopies of PC.
I live on an island by myself with my cats. A cat island. That's my island. Cat island.
Luca mentions cats 21 times in this segment.
For fun, I think I'll go to the disco. In the disco, just heavy metal music. I won't be dancing with girls. I'll be dancing, I think, with one of my cats.
Some of you might say that Luca is your spirit animal. Luca's spirit animal is a cat.
The most thing that I like are my cats.
I tried to think of the best way for me to present this final segment, but I don't believe that I can do it any justice. I'll let it speak for itself.
God didn't create us to be like all rich and stuff. He created us to for us to be happy. But so I think we should all be naked and stuff. I think we shouldn't be wearing clothes and stuff. I don't like being naked. I think naked is kind of nasty. But sometimes you don't. Not being naked, I think clothes is good. I think clothes would be fashion. Yeah, well, clothes is fashion. For me, I don't like wearing clothes that much. And I think it'll be I'd be more happy being naked all the time. And it'll be because I feel more secure without any clothes on. I think we should wear clothes. I don't think we should be naked in the new world. Because people will be looking at you. Some people might have some knickers on vest and go, oh, look at them. So I wouldn't do that. But in my world, everybody would be naked, so there wouldn't be anything to worry about. So they could all so they wouldn't be teasing people. And so because they would all be naked, so it doesn't matter who's naked or what. Sometimes when I wear clothes, I feel a bit stressed, but when I'm not wearing clothes, I feel I'm not distressed or anything. I think that we shouldn't wear shoes either, because shoes kind of irritate me. So I think we can just walk with socks on. Sometimes when people are naked, it makes them happy. So people want to be naked, it makes them happy and make them have a big smile on their face.
I laughed the entire time I watched that. I wonder what the kids of the Nickelodeon were up to today. Did they achieve their dreams? Have any of their views changed? I'd also like to see the full unedited version again. Since it ran on repeat for 24 hours, I feel like it'll need to be either 4 or 6 hours long, not 5. If it exists out there though, I think we'll find it. 2024 was an amazing year for locating lost media. But anyway, that's my video. I hope you liked it. Did you have any predictions on what the new millennium might be like? If so, leave them in the comments. I'd love to read them. Until next time.